Hello, welcome back to another Games from Scratch video. In this episode, we'll be focusing on the settings menu and the new game menu. I've already gone through and built this project once. However, there was an issue with OBS. So you'll see a few errors down below, and also all of the assets have already been created at this point. Since the project's pretty small, I'm just going to use a global state file. The global file will take care of state changes, so scene changes. It'll hold all of the player information, as well as the functions for loading and saving files. For now, I'm just going to pass on the save and load function, but eventually those will be filled out. Testing the game, we see that it does successfully change scenes. However, there is no setting scene currently, so we're going to build that out now. To start with, I'll just include a master volume setting. It won't have any effect currently, however, it will be saved in the global state.
Thank you.
I think this looks good enough for now. This will get revisited later. And now just duplicate this scene and use it as the base for the new game screen. I happen to change the naming of the scenes this time around, so I need to update my function calls. I've also quickly created a base for the load game scene, but we won't be getting to that one this episode. And another test. We'll check out the settings page, make sure the slider works, and more importantly saves the state to the global file. And also checking the new game scene and the load game scene. And now we're going to go off script, even though I said we weren't going to be working on the load game screen. I ended up working on the load game screen anyway. The idea here is to have a scrollable container that will house dynamically loaded scenes based on files present in a directory. So I'm using the directory search to collect all the JSON files in the save path. The load game button scene is just to house all of the information present in the save file. So it should include things like the save file name or the general name, number of credits, and the save file version. One thing I didn't do here is to actually check to make sure that the file being opened is a JSON file or even a save file from the game. But that's something we can change in the future. In order to display the information from the save file, I'm passing it through the init function of the load game button scene. I've also attached a signal to the load game button scene in order to determine whether or not a scene has been selected and which scene. Now I'm just quickly filling out the load game button scene, just so that I have something to play with in the actual load game menu. It always takes me an eon to figure out the layout. Building out the global load and save functions while working on the load and save or load and new game scenes. That way it's just easier to keep track, make sure the loading all works as intended. I'm going to finish the episode out working on the new game layout. The country buttons are pretty simple in terms of layout. It's just a checkbox essentially with a flag icon that can be updated using the tool functions in Godot. So when you update it in the editor, it actually shows on screen. And because I've already recorded this whole project once, I've already made all of the assets, or at least temporary ones. The country select signal, when emitted, will clear out all of the other selections and enable the one selected, as well as setting the selected country in the global state. The sanitize text function will be used to ensure that the file name is usable on operating systems. Obviously, a general's name can be anything people want. However, spaces and apostrophes and stuff will probably be stripped out. In the future, I will probably duplicate the sanitize text function and have one specifically for file names, while the other will be for the general's name displayed during game. One final note in this video, I was iterating the nodes in the countries. However, I should have been iterating the nodes within the country's children. Alright, thank you for watching my video. Tune in next week for episode 3. See ya.